the bunny, whoa, I love the bunny. I don't love my mom or my dad, just the bunny. The bunny, yeah, I love the bunny. I gave everything that I had for the bunny. I don't.
Oh no!
What's going on? Oh, there's a big black square over here where you're supposed to be.
Yeah, where is? We need to
Where
fix
the
that.
fuck is Felix?
I'm invisible. What the fuck?
Invisible.
Hey, there we are. And
here we're alive now.
all right, and that was the bunny song by Ken Ashcorp from
Oh gosh.
from originally from VeggieTales.
Fucking VeggieTales.
And why is my thing not reacting to me? Fuck.
It's staring at me.
Oh my god, it's because of the fucking sun. It's Hello.
Hello.
Alright, there we go.
And we're in business.
Yep.
Just like WrestleMania was.
Yep. Go readings and felicitations, everyone. My name is Felix.
And I am Fab Fox.
And welcome to Low Blows and OwOs.
The show where furries talk about wrestling because that makes so much sense.
And we are
all right.
And we are off. We are just one day removed from the 2-night Wrestlemania event.
Hi, Timo.
What's up, Timo?
Glad to have you. So yes, second year in a row where WrestleMania was too big to be one night. But you know what? Overall, I thought the show was pretty good.
Despite the fact that the build-up to the show was
very bad,
very lackluster. To be nice, you know.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't all bad. I will say that the build-up between the Roman Edge and Bryan match was very good.
Really, that was the only feud that actually had build-up. What build-up? Yeah, you know, I know, right? But
it's the only one that had like solid long-term storytelling and didn't feel like it was slapped together last minute.
Exactly, and the problem with that was because of the other pay-per-views that came before it, like Fastlane and Elimination Chamber.
Yeah, honestly, the Fastlane was only necessary to build on the Daniel Bryan story, the Universal title story, and that was the only reason it existed.
Exactly. Honestly,
which granted that it did help boost that story, but it fucked up everything else.
It did fuck everything else up. I mean, it's really Fastlane just needs to go. It's an unnecessary pay-per-view. Like get rid of Elimination Chamber and Fastlane and bring back No Way Out. So that way they can have their Elimination Chamber there. Just like the old days, you know?
Or, if they must have Fastlane, don't involve any of the stories that have already been super established. Like, say, the Royal Rumble will set up the contenders for two of the main championships, the men's and the women's. And then Elimination Chamber, I think, we should also have a men and a women's Elimination Chamber match, which will set up the contenders for the other two titles that will be defended at WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm.
And if you need to have another one, then let the other be pay-per-view in between Royal Rumble and Mania. Let that one determine the contenders for like the mid-card titles. Like set up your United States contender there and your Intercontinental contender there.
Exactly. You know
what? WWE, why aren't you hiring me? I can write this shit.
hire Shonda and hire Fat Fox. I'm sorry.
Whatever.
Hell, hire Adam Blampier. He's a better booker than anyone else. You know, he's one of the best fantasy bookers ever.
So, bottom line with the build-up to WrestleMania, not the best. In fact, probably one of the most lackluster in recent years. However, I think honestly that probably led to the payoff of WrestleMania being a lot better than it had any merit to being.
Exactly. So, first night of WrestleMania was delayed by, of all things, the weather.
Rain. Actually, first let's talk about a couple things that happened the Friday, the SmackDown before WrestleMania, because it had a couple of the quote unquote WrestleMania caliber.
No, we should. Yeah, that's not even funny as a joke, Sebi. Bring back Mike. Oh wait,
Adam Lee.
Adam Lee. Oh God. Sorry. Go ahead. But yeah, the SmackDown before WrestleMania, which was WrestleMania SmackDown.
They need to work on their names, and we'll talk about what the next pay-per-view is going to be towards the end of the podcast, because I've physically rolled my eyes whenever they announce it. Anyway, so on SmackDown before WrestleMania, they had the big Fatal 4-Way Tag match for the SmackDown Tag Team titles, which I think would have made for a good WrestleMania match. And of course, the Dirty Dogs retained, which I don't think I would have done.
Or the Good Dogs, as Michael Cole will tell you.
Michael Cole has been slipping lately.
He's been slipping for years now.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he got in that one episode I forgot to upload where we talked about like the AEW predictions for Revolution and the recent Wrestling Observer Awards. Michael Cole got worst
announcer.
Yeah, he got worst announcer.
Or worst commentator, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Which, I mean, I can't understand. I still would say Corey Graves is worse than Michael Cole. But
if they had a color commentary category, I would have put that for, like, Byron Saxton or something. Or I mean, I feel bad for Byron. Just let the dude wrestle.
His entire gimmick is just him getting shat on by all the other fucking commentators.
Yep.
What was I saying? Okay, yeah. So they had the tag team match, and they had the Andre the Giant Battle Royal, which, that was standard, and Jey Uso won, which I think is cool.
That show was very, very promo heavy.
It was. They literally only had 3 matches on that entire 2-hour card,
and one of them, who cares? Really.
One of them, yeah, literally, who cares?
And it ended in DQ. That's a big complaint of mine. Like, WWE has a very bad habit of ending their matches in disqualification. Like,
we've had almost 20 this year so far. So thank you, Simon Miller, for keeping track.
Oh my God.
Okay, so yeah, that was SmackDown. Not too bad of a lead-in show. It had good WrestleMania style matches. Night 1.
I'm surprised. Actually, before we move there, I'm surprised we didn't get a female battle royal.
I am too. I am kind of sad that they didn't have one, but I guess it's because all of their other active women's roster was in that tag team turmoil match. They didn't have enough to fill up another battle royal without taking half of their participants from NXT.
Yeah. But yeah, anyway, moving on to Night 1.
Also known as the Good Night. Yes, very true, Sebi.
Very, very true.
Night 1 was fucking fantastic.
Oh yeah.
Despite the rough start, with the delay with the rain.
Fucking Florida.
Fucking Florida, yeah.
Which is strange because I don't think WWE ever had this issue before with WrestleMania.
No, and I feel like I should have seen it coming because the storm that hit WrestleMania hit my area early that morning, and several sections of my city lost power. So it was a pretty intense storm.
Oh shit.
Yeah. But you know what? It only delayed the show for about 30 minutes, so it wasn't a total loss. Bless poor Mandy Rose Hart. It made her slip and fall on her ass.
I think two people actually slipped.
Oh, I think so too. I don't remember who the second one was though.
It wasn't Titus.
At least it wasn't Titus. So, but first things first, the set this year for WrestleMania was astounding.
Hey, if it's gonna be pirate themed, it's got to be at the Buccaneers Stadium,
Yeah, go all out, go ham.
And yeah, this might be one of my favorites because I am a pirate fanatic. And
Yar har DD.
Yes, I mean I would have started out with that one, but
copyrights.
Exactly. Although I could have played, yeah, copyright.
But yes, the stage and the entrance ramp, so good. And I did not realize how much I missed having fans in attendance of that capacity until I saw it, and I was like, "Wow, I really missed this."
Vince and a bunch of other the wrestlers came out welcoming the audience, saying how good it is to have them back, to have the WWE Universe back, and we're gonna get started with WrestleMania.
Immediately starts raining.
Yeah, which and then we had I can't remember her name. Do America the Beautiful.
Bebe Rexha.
Thank you.
I am such a big fan of hers. I was so stoked that she was there. And I thought she did a good job. Other people do not share my sentiment, but I am also biased because I really like Bebe Rexha. And the second night, they actually had someone I had never heard of before, but she did good. Ashland something, country singer.
Yeah, never heard of her either.
Yeah, but she was good. They had good people performing it this year. Let's see. I was really surprised that they kicked off the show with Drew versus Bobby. I almost thought, up until they announced that Bianca and Sasha were the main event, which thank you WWE for doing that.
I was surprised they actually did they did that because a bunch of people I asked saying which one would make sense as the main event in terms of build. It probably would have been Drew versus Bobby because they had the better build than Sasha and Bianca. No disrespect to them, but
I mean, the build would have been fine if they didn't focus so much on them in the tag team title scene.
Exactly. But
anyway,
more on that later.
Yeah, more on that later. Even though the build to Drew and Bobby wasn't the greatest, it was literally one of those moments where they just kind of plopped in saying hey, Drew's going to challenge for the WWE title. And we're like, why? First let me say how much I love the fact that Bobby Lashley is the WWE champion. I'm so glad that he finally got his due and is able to have a run with this belt. But I was even more surprised and happy with the fact that they let him retain at WrestleMania.
I have one minor nitpick with that, and you probably know what this is. But if they were gonna keep the belt on Bobby, why the fuck did they break up the Hurt Business?
Oh yeah, what's up with the Hurt Business?
What was the point of breaking them up?
There wasn't a point. Vince just does not like factions, and that's probably why AEW is chock-a-block full of them.
As well as NJPW,
Yeah. You know more about New Japan than I do.
Yep. They're
honestly, when it comes to New Japan, I literally only know the Bullet Club.
But yeah, that's for another podcast. But which I find it very strange because back in the Attitude Era, there were a bunch of factions in WWE. So what the hell happened?
And they were always such a big draw, like DX, NWO, the Nation of Domination back in the day.
Yes, Vince doesn't like a lot of things.
What do you mean he doesn't like a two?
Or the fact that he doesn't like the fact that Vince doesn't like facial hair because it's like I'm giving in to my it's like I'm weak against my own body. It's like, what? He's one of those, like...
He's a strange, strange entity.
Exactly. Better than what I would have said. One of those, like, strong-arm Republicans that refuses to fucking die.
Yeah, I swear to God, he's gonna be like Betty White or the Queen of England, just leech off of everyone else's life force and just stay alive forever.
But unlike Betty White, we actually like Betty White. I mean, Betty White is actually a likable person. Or rather, unlike Vince, Betty White is actually... Yeah, facial hair is weakness. Imagine if furries are real. He'd be screwed unless it was a sphinx.
Bald. Or one of those Xolo dogs from Mexico.
Oh, yeah.
We are incredibly off topic. Okay, Drew versus Bobby. Good match.
Great match.
Very enjoyed it. Great match. Surprise ending, most people would say, because like everyone and their mother was thinking that Drew was facing Bobby because they were going to give him his WrestleMania moment that he should have had against Brock.
Yeah, and I initially and I thought that they broke up the Hurt Business just so they could get more heat on Bobby, so Drew could be cheered. Which thankfully that did end up happening. You know, I mean that did happen, but they still kept the title on Bobby. So again, what was the point?
Yeah, I will say, you know, when Bobby was making the entranceway, he was definitely receiving a lot of cheers. But, you know, I imagine that's just because, you know what, this is the first major show in over a year. So, you know, they're going to fucking cheer everything. But during the actual match, he was getting proper heel heat. So it was proper. The finish was, to your point, Sebi, the finish was definitely a bit more lackluster than I would have hoped. The distraction was
it's like
unnecessary.
MVP like, hey, Drew, like, huh?
It's perpetuating the stereotypes that baby faces are stupid.
Exactly.
Because that was a stupid thing to do, Drew.
Very, very stupid.
But you know what? Bobby still won in pretty convincing fashion. Drew didn't tap, so that his character is still pretty protected. So you know what?
So we might get a rematch out of this.
Yeah, considering what's coming up next. Anyway, not, you know, the next pay-per-view, which we'll get into that. Overall, I'd rate that match a 4 out of 5.
Yeah, 4 out of 5 is fair.
And let's see. After that, it was the Tag Team Turmoil.
A match that I honestly didn't really care that much about.
I didn't either. It was a lot happening, but it wasn't the worst match I'd ever seen.
I just don't know why they had Naomi, who is from Tampa, and her team with Lana get eliminated first.
And according to the time that I have on Wikipedia, in 2 minutes and 20 seconds.
Oh, dear God.
To the most devastating move in all of sports entertainment. Yeah, I really hate how WWE treats Naomi. She deserves so much more.
And same thing with Billie Kay. They paired her up
Billie
with Carmella.
Kay is so good.
And they
put her back in the goddamn Iconics.
They broke up the Iconics. Why? I mean, it was initially reported that. Oh God, the freaking sun. It was initially reported that they were going to give Peyton Royce a mega push, but that never happened. They just put her in another match with Lacey Evans. Fucking really?
Tag team, yeah.
What was the point?
They broke up a solid established tag team and put those two members of that solid established tag team into two different tag teams.
Exactly.
that one had to break up because Lacey got pregnant.
Yep.
Which, congratulations to Lacey. I hope she's doing well.
Yeah.
I was honestly, I was kind of upset, and this is going to sound bad. I was upset to hear that she got pregnant because I was actually looking forward to her getting a small run with the Raw Women's title. However, considering who now has the Raw Women's title, I'm good with that. And I'm also very happy for Lacey.
But we'll get to that.
Yeah. Okay, so the tag team turmoil match. The first two teams in it were. Ooh, I scrolled up too far. It was Lana and Naomi came in first, and then Billie Kay and Carmella. Uh, uh, in just over 2 minutes, Billie Kay rolled up Naomi, and Carmella assisted a little bit. Then Dana Brooke and Mandy Rose came out, and bless Mandy Rose.
I thought it was the Riot Squad. Flat.
They came out fourth.
Oh.
Bless Mandy Rose. She fucking slipped and fell flat on her ass on the entranceway.
I think she also had like a wardrobe malfunction.
Yeah, I think there was a bit of a nip slip. Which, I mean, it happens to the best of us, you know?
Yeah.
They also didn't last much more than two. Oh, no. They moved on to the next round.
Moment of silence for Mandy's booty.
Yeah, moment of silence for Mandy's booty. Oh, okay, hold on. Yeah, it was the Riot Squad next.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I was actually kind of rooting for. Sorry, go ahead.
For some reason, Wikipedia has them in order of elimination, which is pretty close to how they just came in general. Yeah, but yeah. So the Riot Squad was next.
Yeah, I was actually cheering for the Riot Squad because I actually like Ruby Riott and Liv Morgan. They deserve better.
They do, and I like them a lot because, much like the Iconics were, they are an established tag team and have been for a while.
Mm-hmm.
But they did well. They are actually the team that got the most eliminations. They took out both Kay and Carmella and Dana Brooke and Mandy Rose.
Mm-hmm.
And then last team in were Natalya and Tamina, who were the eventual winners. And you know something I noticed?
What?
The crowd, the fans really liked Tamina. Tamina was getting some really solid pops over both nights of WrestleMania.
I mean, she deserves to have her moment, and she hasn't had it yet.
Yeah, absolutely. She has. I was hoping that her and Nanny would have won the titles, but
we'll get to that.
We'll get to that. So yeah, overall the match was okay. I'd probably give it a 2.5 out of 5.
2.
And Natty and Tamina won.
Yeah.
It was a really good showcase for the women. I would say it was a good replacement for the women's battle royal.
Yeah.
And at least it made it onto the main card.
Yeah.
Next up, after that, was Cesaro versus Seth Rollins.
This I think this might be my match of night 1.
A+ match. It's not my match of the night. We'll get to my match of the night, but it was a fantastic match. Cesaro won his very first singles match at WrestleMania, and he's competed in 8 WrestleManias before this. So this was his 9th WrestleMania, his first singles match, and I'm very happy that he won.
Again, the build up to this story wasn't that great. Had it been like maybe where Seth was goading Cesaro about or as he called him, Zarzaro. Had he maybe been goading Cesaro or that? God, I cannot talk. Had Seth been goading Cesaro at the fact that he's never been in a singles match at WrestleMania or been near the top title, this would have been an interesting feud. But it was just about a swing.
Yeah, if they, I feel they should have doubled down on Cesaro's track record with WrestleMania a bit earlier than they did.
Mm-hmm.
But the payoff was good. Cesaro, I think overall Cesaro swung
23 times
in one rotation. Then he had another rotation before that. I think grand total was like 32.
Oh my lord.
Mm-hmm. And the fact that he snatched that, oh my god, the way that he reversed the stomp into that uppercut.
Chef's kiss.
Chef's kiss. So good.
And it really I just really hope that this is the sign of WWE finally giving
Finally.
Cesaro that big push.
Mm-hmm. I definitely
But that's
think
just
that. I
also
definitely think that the next step is the Intercontinental Championship.
perhaps. But also my inner ROH fan in me is just like reeling like in happiness because we got Tyler Black versus oh my god, I forgot his name when he was in ROH, but we had these two former ROH guys
Wasn't like
in WrestleMania.
Antonio Castagnoli?
Yes, that's it.
Claudio Castagnoli, yeah.
Claudio Castagnoli. That's a mouthful. Thank you guys.
But yes, great match. Easily 4.5 out of 5 out of me. Probably your 5 out of 5.
Yep, it's a 5 out of 5 for me. That was a great match.
And definitely think that they should be pushing him more after that.
Mm-hmm.
So after Cesaro and Rollins, it was AJ Styles and Omos versus the New Day for the Raw Tag Team Championships.
Now, this was definitely an interesting match because you have the heel team of AJ Styles and Omos and the babyface team of the New Day. Also, Biggie, shouted them out.
Biggie coming out and doing their intro again. Oh, fuck. I did not realize how much I missed that until he did it.
But what I want to know is, why were the New Day acting more like heels than the heels of AJ and Omos?
I can definitely see that, but at the same time, they're also being incredibly goofy, which is literally just New Day's entire gimmick.
That is true.
But I do also like the fact, because going into it, I kind of had a feeling that Styles and Omos would win, just because of how much they were pushing Omos as a big, massive giant.
Yeah, they've been protecting him like crazy, and like trying to build him up as this big, huge, threatening force. And credit to WWE, they did a damn good job of that.
Yeah, like even back when they were having the goofy lead-ins from like the weekly shows leading up, like when they had that game night on Raw.
Mm-hmm.
You know, AJ was playing along. You know, he was being goofy along with the New Day, but Omos, you know, they had him being like, "This is above me, or this is beneath me. I'm gonna kick y'all's ass." And fuck, did he do that?
Yep.
Because like the match went on for 9 minutes 45 seconds, and for about 8.5 minutes of that, it was literally the New Day kicking AJ Styles' ass the entire time.
and then he got the hot tag into Omos, and Omos just wrecked
them.
Yep, just like they were nothing.
I do like that AJ Styles got his one big spot in, when the fact that he springboarded off the ropes, bounced onto Omos' shoulders, and nailed Woods with a phenomenal forearm. That was a great spot.
Yeah, that was a very good spot. And I think Omos hit like a choke slam or spine buster, and AJ was like, pin him, and just put his foot on top of Kofi Mania for the 1, 2, 3.
Poor Kofi.
Yeah, poor Kofi.
I do think Omos' finisher suits him. It kind of reminds me of the old Sky High that D'Angelo Brown used to do.
Mm-hmm.
It's just not sit out. But yeah, I think I think them winning the titles was a good move.
Mm-hmm.
And something tells me that the only reason that they're going to lose those titles is because Omos is going to turn on Styles.
And now AJ is a Grand Slam champion.
It's finally a Grand Slam champion, yeah.
He won the tag belts. Also, guess how old Omos is?
How old is Omos? Is he in his 40s?
He's 27.
Shut up. No, he is not.
He is 27 years old.
Oh my god. Dude. I'm 27 years old, and he is literally 2 of me. I'm actually 26, but still.
I'm 28, and I'm older than OwOs, and I'm only just now getting into wrestling. God dang it!
But first of all, no, he's taller. He would be taller than both of us if you were sitting on my shoulders.
Yeah.
That's not okay.
WWE loves their big, tall guys. You know, they love their monsters.
Yeah. And I think with more consistent training and time in the Performance Center, I think OwOs could be a really decent wrestler.
I agree, as well as another guy that debuted on night 2. But again, we'll get to that.
We'll get there. So yeah, that match was good. I'm glad for Styles and Omos. Styles definitely deserves to be a Grand Slam champion. The next match was so much better than it had any right to be, which was Braun Strowman versus Shane McMahon in the steel cage.
Choo-choo sounds only came from the entrance this time.
Yes, as it should have.
Seriously, what the hell was that?
I don't know, man. You can tell that this feud was more directed to kids, which I can appreciate.
And
but
yeah,
the spaces for it was entirely too threadbare. Like the fact that Braun was so offended by being called stupid, and literally just that exact word, stupid, that he fucking wrecked him in a steel cage. Like, I got called worse than that in fucking middle school, dude.
Same here.
Check yourself. And Shane, you need better insults.
Like, and the fact that Shane said,
the show is PG, but come on. You're allowed to say dumbass on a PG show, right?
I guess so. I think. But I thought this match was fine.
Yeah.
But when they first said steel cage, I'm like, Shane is an expert in steel cages. The last time he was in a steel cage, he sweated his ass he sweated his ass to victory. You know, he slipped out of that t-shirt because he's a very sweaty man.
Yeah. And the only reason they made it a steel cage match is so Shane could jump off of something. Because that's what Shane has to do.
The guy is like 50 years old. I'm like, he shouldn't be doing those anymore.
Yeah, but apparently he's got the body of King Midas or shit.
Good lord.
But here we go. So, of course, it started out with Elias and Jackson Riker, fuck off, coming out and whacking Braun Strowman with steel chairs, which, okay, whatever. Shane is the heel.
Mm-hmm.
It really started to pick up when Shane climbed up to the top, started descending, and then Braun got up, grabbed his wrist, pulled it through the chainmail so he couldn't go anywhere, and then proceeded to rip the paneling of the chainmail off of the cage.
That was a cool spot.
Hoying Shane back into the cage so he didn't escape.
And then
that was so creative.
And then ended it with a power slam. It's like, he's already dead. What are you doing?
And that came after Braun put Shane back on top of the cage and then threw him off the top of the cage.
Wait, did he really?
Yes, for real. Like, because he ripped open the steel cage to bring him back inside. Yep. And then he put him back on top. He climbed on top.
Oh yeah.
Booted him off to the bottom. And Shane landed hard.
Yeah.
That was a stiff landing.
Again, he shouldn't be. He's in his 50s. He can't be taking bumps like that. What are you doing?
Not too much longer, anyway.
Yeah.
He's going to paralyze himself.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you know what? That match is a solid 3.5 out of me. Much more entertaining than I expected it to be.
Definitely more entertaining than I expected, but it gets like a 3. But my main complaint about this match is they went with the whole Braun was bullied, like the monster being bullied shtick that Vince likes to pull out of his ass whenever he does this. How much you want to bet he's going to do this with Almas later down the line?
I can see it.
It's just...
It didn't work with Lars Sullivan. It wasn't going to work with Braun Strowman.
And it didn't really work with Nia Jax either, you know?
Or Mickie James. It's just an uncomfortable storyline.
It really is. Like...
No more, please. Thanks.
And it hurts me to say that because I love Braun Strowman. He's a North Carolina guy. I have to cheer for him, you know? Okay, and yet several months ago he was bullying Adam Pearce. Like, consistency, what's that?
What's the deal? But we digress. What followed that match was a lot better than I anticipated. It was Bad Bunny and Damian Priest versus The Miz and Morrison.
But did they really have to bring out the bunny suits and the freaking hey hop shit?
No. But the match that followed it made it okay.
I just wish Damian Priest actually got a better entrance because, like, three out of the 4 got, like, extended entrances, you know?
Yeah.
Damian Priest just had a regular one.
Bad Bunny fucking rolled in on a fucking semi.
Why couldn't they just come out together?
I know. But no, man, yeah, Bad Bunny, I was surprised with how well he carried himself in the ring.
Surprisingly, he was in most of the match. Like, you would have thought, like, it'd be Damian Priest and like Damian Priest would have carried most of the match, and then Bad Bunny would have had that one hot tag, did the crossbody, and then exactly.
That's what I anticipated. But no, Bad Bunny was in most of this match,
and you could tell Bad Bunny was taking this seriously because he got some good training in, and it definitely showed. Some of those punches kind of look like shoot punches almost.
Especially the one on Raw a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
That was a good punch.
I mean, this guy hit like a Falcon Arrow, like a Michinoku driver, or I think it was a Falcon Arrow, with Priest, and he hit a freaking Canadian Destroyer on Morrison.
Destroyer. And, like, okay, just to be completely transparent with this, we all know that Morrison is the one that carried most of that move, but still, you have to be able to know how to execute the move and, like, tuck your head properly. It was a flawless Canadian Destroyer.
Exactly. Timo, as far as best celebrity matches go, I personally think that belongs to Pat McAfee and Adam Cole, but I digress.
But, I mean, that's NXT. NXT and main roster are very separate.
Yeah, as far as WrestleMania celebrity matches go, yeah, this might be the best one.
100%.
I really do wish that Damian Priest got a bit more to show off, you know, because he kind of felt like an afterthought.
I feel like he's probably still nursing his injury a little bit, so he might not have been able to do much more.
I see.
Because Morrison wasn't in too much of this match either. It was mostly Miz and Bunny.
You're right. That may be. I never thought of that.
Because it was supposed to be the tag team match from the get-go, but then both Morrison and Priest got injured, which is why it was going to be the singles between Miz and Bunny. But I think they healed up just enough to be cleared for light ring action.
Yeah,
and then that's where the tag team match came in.
Overall,
solid 4 out of 5 out of me.
4 out of 5 indeed.
I was very thoroughly entertained, and at the end of it, I was like, "Dude, give Bad Bunny an NXT contract." I'm mainly sad now because now I don't think that they're gonna put Damian Priest in any kind of direction because now Bad Bunny's going off on tour. So,
and thus ends the 3-week push.
Yeah. Now, next is my match of the night, and it was the main event. Bianca Belair versus Sasha Banks for the SmackDown Women's title. Fucking phenomenal.
This was definitely a very welcomed main event for me. The first time...
despite the build-up, which was not great.
We had the first ever women's singles match to main event of Mania, because 2 years ago we had a triple threat. And the first main event to feature 2 women of color.
2 black women.
As the main event.
Amazing.
Yep.
Astounding. And you know what? They delivered.
There was like this moment before the match where they were kind of looking at each other like they were in the moment like, this is actually happening, and like part of me was like, what are y'all doing? Get back into character, damn it.
They both started tearing up, and I'm like, fuck, stop.
Stop.
You're gonna make me cry.
And then it was hey, get back into character. And then the bell rang, and that's when they did.
It was such a feel-good moment. It was, I equate it to the after the match, whenever Natalya and Lacey Evans had their match out in Crown Jewel. Mm-hmm. How after they finished their match, because it was the first time 2 women were able to have a match out in Saudi Arabia, and despite the fact that the Saudi shows aren't great, that was still a huge moment. And
that definitely was.
Post-match, when they dropped the kayfabe and were hugging and crying, that was such a good feel-good moment. Mm-hmm. But oh my god, this match was perfect. Honestly, for what it was absolutely perfect. Each of the competitors had exactly the right amount of offense. Their like facial acting, like their actual physical acting in the ring was amazing. Like every time they had that near fall and they would like scream and like show their frustration. Yeah, absolutely. 100%.
And there were a bunch of really good spots, especially from Bianca, like showcasing what she can do. Like,
I've never seen her do that standing shooting star. Never seen her do that before.
There was a moment where Banks went out for a dive, a tope suicida, and Bianca caught her, rolled her up and caught her and lifted her up and threw her back into the ring. Holy shit.
And not just threw her back into the ring, but like she hoisted her up in that gorilla press slam position, walked around to the ring, walked up the steps while still holding Sasha over her head, and then hoisted her back into the ring.
That was incredible.
So good. And she did the 450 spot a couple times. The first time, Sasha got the knees up. Second time, she hit it flush. But we need to talk about the spot in this match.
Mm-hmm.
I have never heard anything so loud since Stevie Richards hit JBL with the chair.
Oh, yeah.
Bianca did her hair whip, but oh my god, it sounded like a fucking gunshot.
Uh-huh. Like, and it left a mark, too.
The mark that it left on Sasha, like...
Yeah, that hair whip is lethal.
For just going all in on that spot.
Mm-hmm. And then she hit the what is it called?
The KOD, the kiss.
The KOD. Yep, the KOD for the 1, 2, 3. And what
100% was the right thing to do. Yep. Bianca deserves that title and so much more.
No. She doesn't deserve it. She earned it. Okay.
Oh, absolutely, she earned it. The fact that she was never that she never won the NXT Women's Championship is a crime.
Yeah. Yeah, she used it on Baszler on TakeOver once. That one drew blood. Oh shit!
It drew blood from Sasha this time too.
Oh my! Which I wonder which is worse, the hair whip or a chop from Walter.
Oh god!
Probably the whip because.
No, honestly, I would say the chop because I swear to God, one of these days someone's heart's gonna stop.
Like yeah, it's like you have to sign a waiver with Walter. Like you must.
I know. It's like I didn't get to watch the first night of TakeOver because I was watching AEW.
Yeah, same here.
But I can't watch Walter matches. Those chops are too much. Like I watch them and my chest starts to sting, and I'm like, fuck, I can't. It's too much.
They are glorious. And especially considering he like in chop. All right, so this is with chopping, what most people do to get that big sound effect is they actually cup their hands a bit. So this is what a chop sounds like with a flat hand. This is what it sounds like when it's cupped. Not the best example, maybe, but hold on.
I don't think the sound came through.
That's with it cupped.
Mm-hmm. It definitely is a lot of noise. And have you been chopped in training yet?
No, but I have been chopped in matches. In like exhibition matches rather, because I haven't had my first match yet.
There isn't really much you can do to work that. Like, it's straight up just a slap to your chest.
Yeah, and I've given some chops too. Like,
Timo in the chat right now. You've been a wrestler for quite some time. Please tell us how chops feel.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's Timberwolf. What's up, buddy?
Uh-huh. For those of you in the chat that may have been seasoned listeners, we interviewed Timo in our 3rd episode. Very nice episode. You should check it out. It's on YouTube right now. Shameless plug. But yes, so while we're waiting on Timo's answer for that match.
Yeah, chops suck if they're just full on flat handed. Yeah, that's why I cup the hand. I cup the hand. It's not cup chops suck less. Exactly.
He did not say they don't suck at all.
Yeah, they suck, but they just suck less.
They suck less. But yes, no. Bianca versus Sasha absolutely is my 5 out of 5.
I also give this a 5 out of 5. So overall, night 1 was, despite a few hiccups, especially with the gauntlet match, for the women's gauntlet match,
and the rain.
This was a 4 out of 5 night of WrestleMania for me.
I would give it a 4.5 out of 5. I was very, very surprised with how good the quality was. I cannot say the same for night 2.
Oh boy.
Here we go. So night 2 first starts off with Randy Orton versus The Fiend.
Before we actually get into night 2, we should also probably bring up the elephant in the room, that being the hosts. Titus O'Neil, who is from Tampa,
A+,
and Hulk Hogan, who actually got booed like whenever he came out. He has like intense go away heat. And
good job, Tampa crowd.
Yep. You think it would have been bigger if they had done this in Chicago?
Probably. And honestly, it probably would have been louder if there were more than 25,000 people there. I feel like the point when Hogan was coming out is when they started piping in some of the audience noise.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, no. Yeah. Bottom line, absolutely Titus O'Neil should be a host of WrestleMania because he's great. And fuck off, Hogan.
Titus O'Neil is... Can we just take this moment to appreciate how much of a good person Titus O'Neil is?
He really is. Like, they were showing some of the charity work that they were doing in Tampa leading into that. It's great. He's great. And he definitely deserves that Warrior Award he won last year, technically. But yeah, Titus O'Neil, great guy. Hogan, fuck off. Alrighty. Elephant in the room addressed, night 2.
So, yep, Randy Orton versus the returning Fiend, Bray Wyatt. And
the entrances leading up to it, awesome.
The fact that he went from crispy, or as I call it, quispy, to
Quispy.
it's like from a meme.
Quispy Boy Wyatt.
It's from a meme that I saw a while back. It's like Two-Face from The Dark Knight, but it's like both sides are burnt, and at the bottom it just says Quispy.
Quispy. But yes, leading up to it, Bray transitioned from Quispy. Damn it. He was walking down a kind of like a caged hallway, and he transitioned from charred Bray to the original Fiend, which was cool. I like that effect. And then the Firefly Funhouse music hit, and Alexa started walking down the ramp, and Alexa got a huge pop.
Alexa's is probably the only one who could get away with this, and freaking Adam Blampier from from Wrestle Talk or Parts Unknown called it years ago when he was with What Culture that he would be like that Alexa would be like a sister Abigail to Bray Wyatt, you know. But we'll get to that.
We'll get to that.
So she comes down to this really big box, and Michael Cole's like, this big square contraption. It's like, it's a freaking Jack in the Box, you fucking idiot.
Straight up, word for word, he said, a box-like structure. Oh,
it's
Michael
like,
Cole, you're going to give me.
You see that crank? It's like, it's obvious it's a freaking Jack in the Box. What the fuck?
I still cannot get over power bomb through the table. Buster on a ladder. Anyway, I digress. So yes, Alexa Bliss walks up to the box-like structure. It starts turning the crank on the Jack in the Box. You know, and it does the whole.
Out comes the Fiend.
out comes Bray Wyatt.
Bray got a huge pop from the crowd.
Yeah.
Like during the match, and he like it's like he was looking around, kind of like, how do I get down from here? I'm like, oh yeah, I could just jump into the ring and clothesline Randy Orton.
He didn't hold back either. He fucking waffled Brandy
Rhodes. What are you doing here?
I mean, I wouldn't put it past him. Like Cody took her out with a suicide dive once.
Yeah, and speaking
anyway,
and Bray even did a few like tributes to like the late Brody Lee.
Bless her. Which that's what's tipping me off, because like a lot of people are speculating it was Bo Dallas instead of Bray Wyatt, but
no, that's very much Bray.
Bray may have lost some weight because he does look a lot thinner than he used to be.
Mm-hmm.
But like I saw his neck tattoos, and I don't think Bo Dallas has neck tattoos.
He does not. He's a clean, no tattoo boy.
Mm-hmm. And he did the tribute to Brody Lee, which I mean, I definitely feel like Bo Dallas was close with Brody because of how close Bray and Brody were, but I don't think Bo would have done that in the match.
Exactly.
Like Bray would have. So yeah. The lead up before the match started was great with the entrances and the theatrics and stuff, but oh my god,
it's like why did Randy get so much offense in? And like Bray Wyatt is the face in this feud. So I'm like, what the hell?
Dude. Why did Randy win?
By way of distraction from
Alexa Bliss.
Which, admittedly, when I first saw that, was like she was sitting on top of the boxed structure.
The box-like structure.
Box-like structure. With like a crown and like viscous black liquid coming out of, like pouring all over her face. At first I was like, holy shit. And the crowd was like chanting holy shit too. I'm like, whoa, this is cool.
It looks so cool.
And then Bray turned around into an RKO and lost. I'm like, what? What the fuck was that?
Like
Bray needed this win. Like, why did you give it to Randy? And it's like are they teasing a split between these two already? Really?
I don't know if they're teasing a split. I think they might be teasing a different direction with the character.
But Bray did not need to lose.
He really didn't. Because I thought, Alexa popping out and oozing all that glech.
You would have thought that would have been a distraction for Randy.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be giving like Bray Wyatt more power to fucking ruin Randy. But no, he got hit with the RKO and literally pinned 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, that
No,
had to end in such confusing manner. And what's strange, this wasn't a Firefly Funhouse match.
Yeah.
This could have been an amazing Firefly Funhouse match for Randy. But no, that didn't happen.
I feel like that Firefly Funhouse match might happen at Backlash because Backlash isn't going to have crowds, which means it'll be easier to do in the Thunderdome. I'm sure there's a reason for it. It's just weird, and I don't like the fact that Bray lost.
Yeah.
So, so I would, match quality wise, I'd give it more of a 2, but the theatrics and stuff that led up to it, I would bump everything as a whole up to like a 3 or a 3.5 because there were a lot of elements to the match that were really cool.
I'll give it like a 2.5 because the ending really did sour it for me.
Yeah, and it kind of set the precedent to how most of Night 2 would go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Wyatt's been deprived of a big Mania win for years. He only ever really got that big moment from last year with his Firefly Funhouse match. But then again, there were no fans. Like, that was the closest he ever got to having a moment.
Yeah. So it did kind of set a precedent. I will say, though, the main event to Night 2 really bumped it up.
But we'll get to that.
We'll get to that. Next up was the women's tag team title match, Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler versus Natalya and Tamina. Overall, the match quality was great, but
it was fine.
It was fine. It was better than I expected it to be, and it went on longer. It was the second longest match on the card.
Probably a bit too long for my liking, mostly because you can't really get too much like crowd participation when it's like heel versus heel because because Tamina and Natalya are technically heels, but the crowd was going for, but the crowd was cheering for Tamina, so
I feel like they're about to turn face again because Tamina got such a big pop.
We'll see.
Yeah, I was really upset that they didn't win though, because considering the fact that Tamina was getting such a big a positive reaction from the crowd, and the fact that we realized that she hasn't won like a legitimate title in WWE ever. She held the 24/7 title for a hot second, and then that's been it.
Speaking of the 24/7 title, we never even saw it at WrestleMania.
No, we had those weird Old Spice commercials for it, but that was about it.
I think that was Eric Bugenhagen as the guy.
Yeah. What's his name?
I think they changed it, but his original name was Eric Bugenhagen. He had like a rocker gimmick, and and whenever he'd come out to the ring, he'd be like, "Yeah!"
No, he's Joseph Average now, but Bugenhagen. That's mean. I shouldn't make fun of his name. Anyway, yeah. So push comes to shove. The match goes on.
Yeah, it's Rick Bugas now.
And then Nat passes out to the Kira Vida Clutch. Cool. What I would do at this point, considering that Tamina has been getting a lot of crowd support, is I'd probably put the titles on them at Backlash.
Yeah.
Because because it was around this time, I think, that they announced that Backlash is called WrestleMania Backlash, which means I guarantee you that we're going to be repeating just about every single match that was on WrestleMania just at Backlash.
You can't see it right now, but I am like, I got fingers up against the temples, like.
Yeah, your arms on your VR.
They don't work. Doesn't quite work with this avatar. But
anyway,
yeah, I'd give this match like a 2.
Match was okay. I'd say 2.5, 3 maybe, just because what kind of boosted up was the fact that the crowd was really rallying behind Tamina, and I enjoyed that.
Yeah.
Next match was very good. Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn. They legit cannot have a bad match if they tried.
With Logan Paul looking
Fuck
on.
off.
Hey, he got a stunner, so I'm happy.
The only saving grace to him being there was the fact that he got a stunner.
Which, to his credit, he sold actually well, but I think what's strange is he's
stunner better than Donald Trump does.
Yeah, I mean, he sold it like he kind of sold it like a snapmare bump, honestly.
Yeah,
which was interesting.
But you know what? It looks good. I enjoyed it.
But then again, you can't go wrong with Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens. So these two have been fighting as far back as ROH. Like, these two cannot. It is physically impossible for these two men to put on a bad match.
And I am glad that they finally did get their WrestleMania one-on-one match.
Yeah, like one just like Cesaro and Rollins, two ROH guys are having a match at WrestleMania. My God.
Wonderful. A+. This match, I would say, definitely gets about a 4.
What we call in wrestling marriage partners. Is that an actual term? I've never heard that one.
Look at you learning something new about the business.
Yep.
And I mean, I can see it because like there are some people that have, they've had so many matches throughout their careers and they just have such great chemistry with each other. Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens is definitely one of them. I would say another two that have really great chemistry are Cody Rhodes and Darby Allin.
Oh, yeah. So overall, I'd give this match a 4.
Yeah. Very good match. Kevin Owens won, as he should have.
Yep. And then stunned, and then they gave a stunner to Logan Paul, so...
5 out of 5. 10 out of 10.
Yep. Two people who tend to wrestle a lot and will always have good matches. Marriage partners.
I like that.
The more you know. Thank you, Timo.
After that was Sheamus versus Riddle. All I gotta say is I'm so glad Sheamus won.
Bro. I was kind of hoping Riddle would retain because
I did not.
I like Matt Riddle.
Which is fine.
But I understand.
I love Matt Riddle in the ring. I think he is a great performer.
But they are... Actually, speaking of Matt Riddle, he had a segment, I think it was either on night 1 or night 2, like, he was chatting up with the Great Khali and his translator.
It was literally right before his match. He was talking with Khali and Ranjan Singh.
And then RVD came along and promoted, of all things, rolling papers.
Rolling papers.
To which I was like, he can do that?
I mean, I'm pretty sure it's legal here in Florida.
Wow. I even though, how much you want to bet Peacock is going to edit that out?
100%.
But hey, that was one of the few things that actually got me to laugh my ass off.
That was... I feel bad because I probably should have paid attention more, but like nowadays, anytime I see Riddle backstage, I start to distract myself. Like I start getting on my phone and like scrolling Twitter because
they have done Matt Riddle so dirty on the main roster. Like, yes, he likes to smoke marijuana, but so does everyone else.
Like, yeah, I mean, and that's not a problem. Like the fact that he smokes weed is not what gets me. It's the fact that they have blown up his character to be such a stereotypical stoner. It drives me mad, and I cannot stand it.
Mm-hmm. But man, he and Sheamus still had a wonderful match.
Great match, A+. It was such very good match. I'm very glad that Sheamus won because he has put in such hard work recently, so over the last year. And those 3 matches that he had with Drew McIntyre, astounding. Mm-hmm. Especially the one that they had at Fastlane.
Oh yeah. How much? Maybe maybe Keith Lee will come back and take the title off of Sheamus.
I just want to see Keith Lee back in general.
Yeah. We love Keith Lee.
We love Keith Lee here at Lobos Noahs. The finish to Riddle versus Sheamus was great. Like Riddle went for that springboard moonsault. It was very reminiscent of that Adam Cole Ricochet spot.
It was like I think they had tried to I think they tried doing a white noise off the top rope, but Sheamus slipped, so they kind of made up for it.
Yeah, which I mean, like I can't blame them. Like the way that he was trying to execute that white noise, like him facing forward, and the fact that the weather is probably still very humid and rainy over there in Florida. So you know what, the fact that they slept and they didn't hurt themselves super badly, it's okay.
Yeah.
You can't. It's hard to do high flying moves in open air arenas in Florida. We saw what happened with Matt Sydal. The dude almost fucking died.
Thank you, Will Hobbs.
Thank you, Will Hobbs, for saving his life because he is one of my favorites. God bless Matt Sydal.
But yeah, I'd give this match like a 3.5 out of 5.
You know what? I'd give it another 4.
All right.
Oh, we didn't finish talking about the spot. Yeah, Matt Riddle did the springboard moonsault, and Sheamus caught him with the brogue kick. I think a little too hard because Matt was literally bleeding out of his mouth.
Yeah, he was showing color.
Yeah, great match though, and I'm very happy for Sheamus. He deserves that title. After that was Apollo versus Big E.
And in a Nigerian drum match, in which case none of the drums were used except for maybe the gong.
Yeah, the gong was funny. But yeah, the drums were literally just kind of there. And it was, it was just a street fight with extra pizzazz. It was okay. It was honestly, it was kind of basic for WrestleMania. I wasn't blown away.
And hey, we have a new champion.
Yeah, which, I mean, cool. I do think that Apollo should have won the championship because this new character of his would not have felt as legitimate if he didn't win.
Yeah, and we also got a debuting Dabba-Kato as like as he's aligned with Apollo Crews.
I'm not sighing at the fact that Dabba-Kato debuted because I'm very glad that he's back because he kind of disappeared off the face of the earth after Raw Underground went down. I'm sighing because the commentators acted like no one had ever seen this guy before.
Yeah.
The dude wasn't wearing a mask or anything. He was just wearing a jacket that he had not been wearing before. Y'all, we're not stupid. Vince,
I think
we're not stupid.
Hold on, I'm actually looking up Sean Ross Sapp because I think they actually have a new name for Dabba-Kato.
It's something like Aziz or something.
Yeah, something like that.
We'll find out more about it, I'm sure, on SmackDown. But he's not going by Dabba-Kato anymore. But yeah, so he rushed in, gave Big E a really good-looking chokeslam, honestly, and Apollo won.
Yeah, and apparently Dabba-Kato is part Nigerian. Yeah,
which, you know what, fits the bill. Cool. I think I give the match a 3. It wasn't
3.
Spectacular. It wasn't horrible. It was just kind of there.
Yeah, 3.
I just hope that now that they've got the title off of Big E, that they push Big E more because he's fantastic.
Maybe they might have him go after the Universal title.
Yeah, and I'll talk about my dream booking for that later on.
We're gonna have to. Monday Night Raw is about to start, so we're gonna have to speed run.
Speed run. Next match was Rhea Ripley versus Asuka. Rhea won. Awesome. That's what she needed.
Man, it was a good match, but it wasn't as
about this.
What?
I said I can tell you're conflicted about this.
I mean, the right person won. I am very happy Rhea Ripley won. What I do take issue with is the fact that Asuka just feels like an afterthought. Like she barely defended the title, like in the last several months that she's been champion. Mostly, she was just a means to an end for Charlotte Flair, and she should have been booked better as a champion.
Yeah, that is sad. I will say though, I'm glad that they had Rhea win, because if she had lost that match, she would have been immediately just her main roster push would have been shot. Asuka definitely could have afforded to lose, because she's literally achieved everything that a woman can in WWE. Like, she's a Grand Slam champion, she's won the Money in the Bank and the Royal Rumble. That's it. That's all you can do.
I mean, that is true. And
so,
I mean, she's 39, so, and she does not look 39. She looks like she looks younger than that. But that's a.
I feel like no matter how much that they try to bury Asuka, like, Asuka is so untouchable. Like, she's so good. Like, no one is ever going to think less of Asuka just because she's that good.
Mm-hmm.
We're all just gonna feel bad that she's not used as much as she needs to be. But yes, Rhea Ripley wins the women's title like she should. I was honestly kind of looking forward. I mean, I was not looking forward to Charlotte Flair being the champion again, because they were going to have Lacey Evans beat Asuka at Fastlane, and then Charlotte was going to take it at WrestleMania.
Essentially, just have her as a transitional champion.
Pretty much. I do wish Lacey would have had a run with the title, because I feel like she deserves it. She is very good in the ring. I'm very glad that her story with Ric Flair ended prematurely, because I hated that.
No one liked it.
Yeah. I think eventually Rhea Ripley would have taken the title off of Charlotte if Charlotte won it at WrestleMania, because, you know, Charlotte beat her last year's WrestleMania, so it would have been like getting her win back. Overall, good match. Glad Rhea's the champion. I'd give it a 3. No, I'd give it a 4.
3. Just because the match itself could have been a lot better.
Mm-hmm.
Given the participants, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Main event: Roman versus Edge versus Daniel Bryan. 5 out of 5. Fantastic match.
This was this was definitely my favorite match in the entirety of WrestleMania. Honestly. Welcome back, Sebi.
Welcome back, Sebi. We'll be putting this on YouTube eventually. You can catch up later.
Yeah.
If we remember, we're going to remember this, Felix. This is fucking going on YouTube.
Yeah. I'll do it like right after we stream, and we might even not have enough viewers for a raid.
What? Look at us go.
But we'll get to that.
So yeah, I was very much looking forward to this match, because this is the one match in the entire 2-night card that had the best build.
And it did not disappoint at all.
No, it did not. It was super good. Everyone gave their all. Everyone's characters were super defined. Everyone played their role well. I was kind of surprised that Roman won, because I thought it would. The reason I thought that they had a triple threat is that either Edge or Daniel Bryan was going to win, because one of them was going to pin the other, which means Roman loses the belt without getting pinned, which protects his character. I thought that was cut and dry. But
when it happened. Sorry, go ahead.
Basically, what happened is that everyone started twonking each other with chairs. Roman got the better of both of them. Thanks
to interference by Jey Uso, of course.
Yes. So he whacked Edge with a chair. He gave Bryan, I think, a concerto. No, Edge gave Bryan a concerto. Then Roman gave Edge a concerto. He dragged Bryan over and positioned him on top of Bryan to where Edge was technically pinning Bryan, but Edge's shoulders were also on the mat. So basically, Roman pins both of them, but how this is going to happen is that on SmackDown, Edge is going to say, technically I pinned Bryan, and then Pierce is going to say, technically you're right. So you're going to have finally a one-on-one match at WrestleMania Backlash. Ugh. And you know what? I feel like it's going to be a steel cage. I'm calling it now.
Wouldn't surprise me. Yeah, there were a lot of really good moments in this match. This was definitely my favorite match of the entire card. And the fact Roman has been booked so well when they finally turned him heel, that the crowd started booing him correctly.
Yes. And you know what? Roman reacted to that perfectly.
Exactly. Instead of just like smiling
Instead
like,
of being
haha, la-di-la. He was like, shut the hell up.
And then he grabbed Daniel Bryan, threw him through the announce table, and was like, "Now what? Fuck off."
Yeah.
And
He
then
is so natural as a heel.
And he really is. He's such a great heel. And then immediately after that happened, Edge ran around, jumped up on the steel steps that the Roman was standing on, speared him off the steps, and I popped, and I was like, holy shit.
And they tried to spear each other, but just hit each other's shoulders. I'm like, oh, thank God they didn't hit their heads.
Right? God. Can you imagine if Goldberg tried to do that spot? He would have fucking he would have rammed his head into Roman's, would give concussed them both.
Mm-hmm.
What was I saying? Oh, so earlier I was saying my fantasy booking for this. They are absolutely going to have a singles match with Edge and Roman Reigns at Backlash, because now, throughout all the story, Daniel Bryan has finally lost clean. Like, there's no two ways about it. Like, he lost this match without any kind of controversy.
And what's funny is Roman actually tapped to both Daniel Bryan and Edge.
I saw that too.
So
one made notice of it, but I saw it.
So he technically lost, but he had to get them back by kicking their asses and winning the match.
Yeah, I wonder if they'll bring that up on SmackDown. Guess we'll find out.
We'll see.
Yeah, so how I feel like they're going to do this is that Roman and Edge are going to have a match at Backlash, which I think Edge is going to win. He's going to take the title off of Roman, and then I think that's the point where they should have Big E come in and have Edge drop the title to him, because Edge can't stick around very long. He's on a Legends contract. He's not a full-timer.
Well, he's technically a full-timer now.
Yeah, but I don't think he should be doing much more, because, you know, every time he gets in the ring, I fear for his life.
Yeah. But then again, Christian recently came back, so
And I fear for his life too.
he took like a
He took the flux capacitor.
a flux capacitor like a champ.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's fine.
Yeah, let's just hope that they all stay fine.
Yeah.
So please, God, Edge, Christian, please don't fucking die. All right, we are T-minus 10 minutes to Raw, the Raw after WrestleMania, which is going to be good. Good point, Sebby.
I fear for Edge and Christian's lives the way I fear Bray Wyatt's career.
Overall,
but yeah, I also gave that match a 5 out of 5.
Yeah, fantastic match. Highlight of that night. It was the only thing that saved that night from being a wash.
But yeah, but still, I gave like WrestleMania night 2 like either like 2 3/4 or a 3.
I'd say a 3.5.
I'll give it a 3.
Yeah, I'd say 3.5 just because the main event was so good, and I really enjoyed the Riddle Shane match. Not Shane, Sheamus. And of course, Logan Paul getting stunned was phenomenal.
Uh-huh. And the overall rating of WrestleMania for me is 3.5.
I gave it 4.5 just because both of the main events were exactly what they needed to be. Oh my God, the Bianca Sasha match was perfect. It almost made me feel the way that Kofi Mania made me feel.
Oh yeah, it's just a shame that Kofi Mania ended so badly.
Yeah, fuck you, Brock. Stay away.
Sebi gives it a 4.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely solid. WrestleMania overall was exceeded all expectations that the build to it gave us. And you know what? That's probably why it feels better than it probably was, just because the build was so lackluster that the matches like over-delivered.
Yeah.
There
was also that moment where Bayley came out and got beat up by the Bella Twins.
It is a time that Bayley did that match.
You know who should have come out? Who should have came out instead of the Bella Twins? Becky Lynch.
Becky Lynch.
So they could have. So that would actually further some story for Bayley. That would give her something to do, you know?
Mm-hmm. But yeah, Timo was right. Night 2 suffered from Night 1 being so good. Yeah, Night 1 set a huge bar.
I had high expectations, and they were not met.
Yeah. All right, signing off. Thank you all so much for watching. We will see you at some point. I still really want to do a tier list of the wrestling belt designs.
We could probably do that either on my channel or we could do it on here. We'll see. Yeah, we could probably do it on here.
Awesome. All right, so until next time, I am Fab Fox.
And my name is Felix, and before we go, we actually have enough for a raid.
All right, awesome. So we will send y'all. Where should we send them to?
We're going to be sending them to my boy Tyler Furlong. Not Ryan.
Enjoy the raid, Tyler. Thank you, Timo Sebi, for joining us. And this has been Low Blows and OwOs. And go raid Tyler Furlong.
All right. Thank you so much, everyone. My name is Felix.
I'm Fab Fox.
And we shall see you all in the next stream. And finally, I started the raid. And
Bye.
Bye. We're going to play us out.